Okay. Sorry, gentlemen, that I'm a little late. I was having technical difficulties as far as trying to get this camera working. It wasn't reading my computer or whatever like that. So, sorry about that. But let me go ahead and get started. My name is Jeremy Hill. This is a Jeremy Hill live stream show. Now, if that's something that you enjoy watching, do me a favor. Hit the like button and subscribe. I think I'm still having a little difficulty with my camera right now for what it looks like. Like everything's moving kind of slower. I don't know. But anyway, if you are easily triggered, this is not the program for you because I mix my personal opinions with facts. I always back up everything I'm going to do. Hit that mute button right there. 1 second, gentlemen. I'm trying to get the settings where it needs to be. Okay. So basically, today's subject is going to be that many black women are whorish. I know a lot of you don't want to hear what I have to say, and that's fine. This is not a channel that promotes violence. This is not a channel that promotes division and hatred. This is a channel that promotes love. And I believe in self-improvement through self-accountability. So that's what you're going to get from this channel. Again, if you are easily triggered, you don't need to be here. Hey, what's up, Derek? I just seen it, man. I didn't think I was going to be able to do this today. But we're going to have a very good time today. I'm going to get into my brief monologue. Let me set this across the screen so y'all can see this. If anybody wants to join into the show, let me do this first. That's what you have to do. You email my email address to get into the show after I give this brief monologue. Now, why do I believe that most modern day black women live whorish lifestyles? Because for some reason, black women, they tend to worship, and this is not a religious channel, but they seem like they worship and have a strong passion for whoredom. Anything that is freaky, anything that will make them look not dignified, anything that they can wear that is whorish, they're going to flock to it, okay? So let me get into this monologue. Today's modern day black women will give you head before they will give a black man respect. They will give a black man head before they give a black man respect. Black women today will twerk and pop their coochie in front of you before they will display femininity in front of you. Again, today's modern day black woman would rather twerk and pop their coochie in front of you before they would rather show femininity to you. Today's modern day black woman would rather lay on their backs or bend over in front of a man instead of having a good attitude in front of a man. Today's modern day black woman would rather have a successful OnlyFans account instead of a successful marriage. This is how far the American black woman has fallen, gentlemen. Now, what I'm going to show you is what the consequences are for women of being whores. Did you know that whenever a black woman has a man that explodes in her backside, her front side, or her mouth, that sperm becomes a part of her until she dies? And I'm going to use science to prove this. Let me pull it up right now. Gentlemen, I know you can read this, right? You see that, right? I want you to pay close attention to what I've highlighted. And give me a moment to pull it up on my own phone so I can read it a lot more better for you, gentlemen. 1 second, sir. 1 second. I had it down here earlier, but all these problems with the camera threw me off a little bit. 1 second. See, that's why I hate not being prepared. That accident kept me where I couldn't. 1 second. There we go. Let me read this to you. All right. Find out how women keep DNA from men she has sex with. Now look at the part where I highlighted in yellow. If you can see that, it says a new study has found that women carrying living DNA from all the men she has ever had a sexual relationship with. Now let's go to the second slide. I want to show you ladies how being a whore affects you long term. There it is. All right. That's number 2, right? Sorry, gentlemen. This thing got crazy today. There it is. No. There it is. That one right there. Now it says, I have to read all of this so you can understand what I'm talking about for today's topic. All right. It says, scientists say that there are only 4 ways male DNA cells are likely to show up in a female's brain. Unknown abortion, possibly a vanished male twin, older brother transferred by the maternal circulation, and sexual intercourse. Finding a man's DNA in a woman's brain from the first three sources applies to only a small percentage of women. The only likely option researchers could account for in the study of 63% women, more than half, who had it, was through sexual intercourse. The implications for women are great. When sperm enters a woman, it swims until it hits a wall and then seeps into your flesh. If it is in your mouth, it can get into your nasal areas, behind your eyes, and even your inner ear. It then enters your bloodstream and collects in your brain and spine. You can never get rid of it. And I'm going to go to the last part of that right there. You got to see this. Now, let's start at the second paragraph on that, the third one. The implications for women are great. When sperm enters a woman, it swims until it hits a wall and then seeps into your flesh. If it is in your mouth, it can get into your nasal areas, behind your eyes, and even in your ear. It then enters your bloodstream and collects in your brain and spine. You can never get rid of it. With every man a woman has had a sexual relationship with, she absorbs the spermatozoa, which becomes a part of you forever. So one of the main reasons why Black women today have so many emotional problems, so much baggage, is because they still got Ray and Pookie and everybody else still a part of them. When you live in a lifestyle of being a whore, every man that you allowed to get into you and bust inside of you is in your skeleton. It goes into your brain matter. So when you die, you taking every failed relationship with you to the grave. Every relationship, every man that you have slept with and cheated with on a good man, you taking that same sorry son of a gun into the grave with you when you are living your lifestyle as a whore, as an adulteress, as a woman who wants to be demon time, as a boss chick, as a boss diva, as a woman who wants to be out in these streets and celebrate a life of promiscuity. You, ma'am, who are living your lifestyle whorishly, you're taking all those bodies, your high body count, to the grave. Even if you get cremated into ashes, all those men's babies is inside of you. This is the reason why virginity should still be important in the Black community, but we don't celebrate that no more. We celebrate being a whore. We celebrate being adulterers and adulteress. Now, let's go to another part. Now, I want to show you why we have all these problems. Let me take a lyric from Megan Thee Stallion on Freak Nasty. I want you to look at this. It says, ice on my neck, let it drip down my chest. Look at this mother blanking money, make me wet. See, women are sellouts nowadays for money. That's why I want to make this. Rich, whore, vagina only come for a check. My contact list look like the yellow pages. I don't say these ninjas' names. I remember faces. Some of you may be too young to remember what a yellow pages are. It's a phone book. Now, if you wanted your name listed in the phone book, you had to request it or whatnot. And inside that phone book will be over 100 names, 1,000 names. So this woman is saying she has so many dinglings inside of her contact list. She don't even put the names in there. She just remembered the faces of the men with all the dinglings that she's sucking on or whatever she's doing. And then she said, look at this mother blanking money, make me wet. Prostitution. That's all that is. Prostitution. Now let's go to Cardi B. Oh no, just to let you know that lyric came from Freak Nasty on Megan Thee Stallion. Let's go to Cardi B, man. I want to show you the type of women that modern day Black women idolize. He got some money, then that's where I'm headed. It's all about the money, y'all. They are selling themselves. This is Cardi B, who is married to Offset. And this is his wife saying, I want you to touch that little dangly thing that's swinging the back of my throat. Offset is weak. I don't care. She is a mother and she is a wife, and she still parades herself as a whore. Whenever she gets up there and celebrates singing and rapping or accept the award, best believe she get it because she is a highlighted Jezebel of whoredom. Okay, we have to get back to morals. Hold on right quick. I'm trying to see what else I need to put up here. For some of you, you get mad at this right here. This woman used to be a whore. Well, I'm not saying what she is now, but she used to parade herself as a whore. We're talking about China Black. She got baptized, entered her OnlyFans account, removed her tattoos, got her breast implants removed. and decided to be a better person for God. Now, you're not celebrating that this whore is now becoming a lady. Now, look what she said in quotations. God told me, you do not need to be doing this. This is not why I put you here, to degrade yourself. See, even this woman acknowledges carrying yourself as a whore, walking around looking like a whore, doing sexual things on OnlyFans is whoredom, and it's degrading. It's a lifestyle and the mindset of being lascivious. And for you don't know what lasciviousness is, let me go up here. All right. Now, being lascivious is filled with or showing sexual desire, lewd, lustful, lascivious acts, thoughts, arrested for lewd and lascivious assault. That's just a definition. So basically, being a lascivious person is just being, it's just being a whore. That's all it is, a whore. When you have a lascivious mindset, you talk lewd, you talk vulgar, you talk profane, you're all over the club talking about demon time, hey, slay, and all this other stuff like that, carrying yourself like wild, unruly animal and beast. That's what you're carrying yourself, and you wonder why you're not marriageable, because you're not marriageable. You're dateable, but you're not marriageable. Anyone would love to sleep with you, but nobody want to put a ring on a slutty woman. Hold on, let me get to my comments and see what I see. How you doing, Al Smith Senior? Yeah, that's right. I'm telling people the truth, and a lot of people don't like the truth, and the truth is not always soft, and that's the problem for so many years. Now, for example, I used to do I was a counselor at one time for people who were dependent upon substance abuse and alcohol abuse, right? And when you try to tell these people gently, put down the bottle, stop shooting that up, stop sniffing that, it brings no results. But when you set up an intervention where you say, you either do this or this is going to be the consequence, you start to see more results. So you have to speak harshly sometimes, not disrespectfully, but harshly. So again, like Al Smith said, if you aren't easily triggered, you can leave this show because I hold people accountable. Now, I just showed you the result. Now, this might be a very short live stream today because I got some pit bulls I got to sell. But if anyone wants to comment on anything I've said today, feel free. I will send you the link, and I will put you on. We can talk for a little while, and you can tell me your point of view. I say, and I mean what I say, that the majority of Black women today in our Black communities are living whorishly. They are doing anything for the bag. Now, if anyone wants to challenge it, that's fine. Or if anyone wants to agree with it, that's fine. The one thing about me, I will not change this men content, this real harsh men content to gain a subscriber, and I won't change it to keep a subscriber because I want to see change within the Black community, and I believe that the Black community can only be changed through self-accountability. We have to point out the problems, and then we must address those problems, and then we must provide a solution. Let me see. 1 second, gentlemen. Got out to a slow start today. Let me see what's going on with mine. Okay, let me send you this link, Mr. Derek. I got your email just right now. Let me get to you. So you can join the show. Let me get to my Gmail account right quick, sir. There it is. Okay, I just sent you the link. I think you got it. Let me see. Okay. Did you get the link, sir? I just sent you the link. So again, I say that American Black women today, they are unmarriageable. They are unfit because they have a lack of femininity. They have a lack of submissiveness. They refuse to be cooperative with a man. They think the world should revolve around them. The reason why we struggle so much in the Black community with it because the sense of entitlement that they have. Oh, is that Cap? Okay, I better add you to the live stream now, sir.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I see. How you doing today, Derek?
Doing great. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
and I wanted to touch on your topic, and I believe it's 100% true without a shadow of a doubt. And one reason why is because women, so many women nowadays embrace being a whore or that in today's modern lingo, so much to the point where it's I find it, judging from my perspective, very hard for guys nowadays to find a virgin. You know what I mean?
Yes,
And
sir.
and then when you think of, when you put this into perspective, how guys prior that when guys right before they get married, how they go as far as having bachelor parties and um go as far as putting all this money into having a big ceremony, only to not be able to wait to that one moment for the guy that may not never ever had sex with his wife to be before, only to get to that moment after they were to do their vows at the altar married, and the two of them to you know engage in the sexual activity, only to find out later on a secret from her, and that secret may be her telling him out the blue that during her college years she may have done an orgy with some guys or some sort. You know what I'm my point of saying this is for most women, for most guys, every time they get excited about meeting that one very attractive woman, only to be able to get that opportunity to have sex with her and brag to his homeboys, is really nothing to brag about, because think about how many other guys she may have been with prior to meeting him.
Exactly. Exactly. I agree with you. Having a bot back in the day, man, having a high body count wasn't something that a woman would celebrate. But now
Right,
they celebrate it. They get on YouTube and say, yeah, I have a high body count. It's a horrible thing when we have to discuss that and say that it's bad. A
right.
woman that is a whore, it should not be celebrated. But unfortunately, a lot of black women today celebrate whoredom.
They
You know,
do.
and that's the reason why I did this show today. I'm gonna do some other things later, but I want to keep that pressure on them. When you dress like a whore, when you talk like a whore, when you have all these different baby daddies and stuff like that, that's nothing to be proud of. That's nothing you should be celebrating. This, and I don't want to hear what people say, well, you make a mistake. I made a bad decision.
Right,
Look, when you sleep with somebody, it's a choice. It's a judgment call. Okay. Like,
right,
yeah, we make mistakes. Mistakes is something that you do when you're not planning to do it. But if you're having sex with somebody, you choosing to go raw without any protection, you know what the possibilities of getting pregnant are. And the women
right,
today need to be held accountable for it, just like the men, but the women need to be accountable for their actions because they always scrutinize our conduct, but they
right.
never get scrutinized about theirs. You know?
That's true. And on that note, think about how much of a psychological effect that could have on the average kid that may have a mother that is always horn around and may, go having sex from man to man, and may have experienced a few times or several times in most cases, either his or her mother engaging in sexual activity right in front of his eyes.
Oh yeah,
Imagine how traumatic that could be.
yeah. And you got a good point right there, man. Because if a child see their mother, especially the mother, acting like a whore, sleeping with all kinds of men, it sends a message to that child. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like this is how you should treat all women, and this is how women should. This is what women are for. You know what I mean?
right,
It's an object of sexual desire. And when you see a mother acting like that, that's a piss poor mother because she doesn't care about the consequences. She just care about herself. She's self-centered. You know what I mean? Because if she really loved her child, she would keep all the men that she's sleeping with away from that child. If that child wouldn't even know. See, when I grew up as a kid, I'm
mm-hmm.
45. If your mama was separated or divorced and she was seeing other men, you wouldn't know about it. You
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't know that how many men she would talk about. Now, these women today, the child can be inside of the living room and the man walk right out the bedroom, a different man every week or a different man every 2 months or something like that.
Right,
Yeah, they see these men coming in and out mama's bedroom, and children are not stupid, especially with the invention of the internet, they know they having sex on there. They know that man in there just making the bed and cleaning up. They know what the man is doing, especially stays all night. So a lot of
Right.
women today don't have morals, man. They don't have a lot of morals. They don't have no restraint. They have no temperance. They don't care about how their actions impact other people, especially their children. A lot of black women today, and I'm not
Mhm.
judging all black women, I'm always talking about a certain percentage of women that are
Mhm.
black, because women want to think I'm making a blanket statement. I'm not. I'm talking about the ones that are louder than the good women. And the
Mhm.
good women should be held accountable for not chastising the bad women, because we see more of the bad women than we do the good women. You know what I mean?
Right.
So when a woman is self-centered, she don't care who knows what she's doing or who she does it with. You know what I mean? So sleeping around is not cool, man. You know what I mean? All
Right.
these STDs out here, black women lead in the highest rate of STDs, gonorrhea, syphilis, stuff like that. Why would you take a chance of sleeping
Right.
with so many different men or women? Because women now are so, freaky now. They don't have no problem experimenting sexually with their own gender. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's big, man.
Right. And on that note, do you ever recall seeing a clip on social media or an episode of that show? I believe it would be called Love and Hip Hop, when Les Scrappy, how they got into a big scuffle, and due to him blaming her for a big part of his upbringing, due to him as a small kid growing up in a brothel. You remember hearing about
Oh,
that?
you talking about his mother, right?
Right. That's a
Yeah, I
prime
think I remember
example.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you could equate that to what I just mentioned, how kids at very young ages may have a mother that they have experienced from small childhood until adolescence or their teenage years, engaging in sexual activities when multiple men not caring or realizing how much of a traumatic effect that may have on that kid. And another example I can give you, the comedian, former comedian, or well, he'll always be a comedian slash actor, Richard Pryor, grew up experiencing the same kind of ordeals growing up as a small child. Because I don't know whether you know it or not, but he grew up in a brothel as well.
See, that's crazy, man. I agree with you. I hold these black women accountable for their actions, because no one is getting on them. Everyone is pandering to these black women and saying everything is okay. It's not okay when you have 8 out of every 10 black women are overweight, and 80% out of that are obese.
Mm-hmm.
It's not okay when 1 out of 4 black children are born outside of wedlock. Over 72% of black women are having children outside of wedlock. So that means about 30% of women who are having children in wedlock. But then you got to take into account of the American Sociological Association clinical study that 70% of women file for divorce out of that 30% of women who have children in wedlock. We are in a bad situation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We have to approach this stuff, man, because we got to stop kissing up to women. A lot of these men are kissing up to women, and I'm not like that. We are the leaders. We are the back of America. We built America. You know what I mean? So how come we can't build our homes? How come we're not allowed to lead our houses anymore as head of a household? Because a lot of men today, they don't have steel in their spine no more. They let their women run over them. And this is
Right.
not, misogynistic. I'm not saying be a dictator. I'm talking about being a leader and stop letting women run over you. That's what I'm
Right.
saying. And hold women accountable for what they do. It is not acceptable to be a hoe. See, I'm gonna tell you something. When I grew up, since I'm 45 years old, man,
Mm-hmm.
I had the privilege of going to church, because the black churches today, in my personal opinion, have failed the black community. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
these preachers are not called by God, they're called by greed. And
Mm-hmm.
what I've noticed is, when I was a kid, we didn't have a prosperity message. What we had was a fire and brimstone message in church.
Mm-hmm.
So you couldn't come into church as a woman. You can come, but you couldn't come in there and sit on the front pew with 3 or 4 different kids from 3 or 4 different baby daddies. They didn't call you, oh, that's someone who made a mistake. They called you a hoe. They called you a whore. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what we need. We need to get back to the language of shaming, not
Mm-hmm.
disrespect, but we need to start pointing out certain type of behaviors that are shameful and keep it shameful. What's wrong is always wrong, and what's
Mm-hmm.
right is always right. We got to stop living in between. We got to stop living in the gray where the lines are blurred and like you can't hold me accountable. And this is
Mm-hmm.
one of the pet peeves I have when I meet black women who you know are living whorish lifestyles or doing something wrong, the quickest thing they come to you with, only God can judge me. When a woman says only God can judge me, that means I cannot be held by any other standard by a person, but only God can. Now,
Right.
if you really are following God, then God's standards, and this is not a religious program for those of you who are just jumping in, but if you really are a Christian, then you will obey God. And even God says don't be a whore. He says don't be an adulteress. So stop trying to make God your scapegoat. Okay? God
Mhm.
wants you to be accountable. Now I'm saying this towards the so-called hypocrite black women. Okay, because they are hypocrites, a lot of them. They're quick
Mhm.
to say they can do whatever they want, however they please. But then when it comes to accountability and self-responsibility, they go to the scriptures. They jump past all the sinful part where God condemns. They go straight to God forgiveness.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, it's crazy. Oh, anybody in there that's just came in, if you'd like to join in the conversation, email me. I've got a ticker to tell you, Jeremy Hill Show 1 at Gmail, Snowman Multimedia, Al Smith Senior. If you want to be a part of this content, feel free. I'd like to hear your point of view. Let me know through the comments that you sent me an email, and I'll go to my email and I'll send you the link so you can come get a part of this. Yes,
And
sir. Yes, sir. I'm
and
listening.
with that being said, see, I look at it from this angle as well. Some of them may have grown up as small kids, having a stepdad who happened to molest them. So, once they get older, they're much more older in age to the point where they may reach adulthood from their teenage cycle to their adulthood, they end up becoming very promiscuous. That's one factor. And not only that, but some of them are also trying to fill an empty void that they never, felt like they got a chance to fill back when they were little girls. Am I right or wrong?
Well, that's a very multi-layer statement. What I mean is like some women react differently to trauma, and
Mm-hmm.
it does fall under the umbrella of trauma. If a girl, and I met a lot of black women like that, if they have been molested by a family member or even raped, the main thing is they have to get therapy. They have to get therapy. They have to work it out because people I've known who've been raped or molested was molested by someone that the family knew, someone that or a family member. And that dude, it can give them an appetite for sex, or it can make them feel very insecure and shame
Mm-hmm.
about what happened to them. You know what I mean? So they have to get therapy, man, because that's something that's deep. Now, as far as like femininity, because we were talking about earlier, you and I, about how a lot of black women they act whorishly, even though they are mothers. They bring different men around their children and sleep with them, and the children are fully aware that they're sleeping with these men.
Mm-hmm.
These children need a femininity coach. They need to find a reputable femininity coach,
Right.
because some women don't know how to behave like ladies because they never had any real examples. Because
Right.
like they don't want to listen to grandmother. Some of the best example of what a woman should do for a man is the grandmother, not the modern day mother. Sometimes it's the great grandmother or the grandmother underneath the great grandmother, because that generation actually had standards. See, back then you didn't have to argue with women about wearing bonnets and outside. You didn't have to you didn't have to argue with a woman about wearing flip flops and dressing hoarsely in those times, back in the 60s and the 70s. So if you got a grandmother and you're blessed to talk to one that's like 65 years old or 70 years old, those are the women that can teach you how to cook.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies, if you're watching, they can teach you how to treat your man, teach you how to cater to your man. Because right now, women don't want to do any of that. And I dare say that most of the slave women back in the day, and I can put this up on my screen right quick, they had more domestic skills than the women today. Let me put this up here for I get pushback when I say things. Hold on, let me get this up
Okay.
here. Yeah,
Take the
I want
time.
you right here, brother. Look, this right here for all of y'all who doubt what I said. Enslaved women were counted on not only to do their house and field work, but also to bear, nourish, and rear the children whom slaveholders sought to continuously replenish their labor force. As house slaves, women were domestic servants, cooking, sewing, acting as maids, and rearing their partner's children. A lot of women can't do what the basic slave could do. They can't sew. I mean, I'm not saying that you have to, but simple stuff like that. I know how to sew. I went to the military. You had to learn that stuff in boot camp. So I know more than some of the women right now. So that's not really a good positive thing to say. A lot of women don't focus on domestic skills. They focus on academic skills. They focus on things that can help them up the corporate ladder, things that can make them more independent, things that can give them more financial empowerment. They're not, they are willing to go to school for years, 8 years, 10 years, just to become independent. But they will not spend one day with their great grandmother to learn how to be feminine or submissive to their man. Their
Right.
priorities are out of whack. Your family means more than your education. Your education cannot make your family happy. It can provide for your family, ladies,
Right.
but it can't make your husband want to stay with you or your kids respect you because you're out of whack. It's when a woman is not walking in her purpose, because they want to say their purpose is, to be successful. No, your purpose as a woman is to be submissive and feminine to your man. A man has never chosen a mate based on how much money she make or how much education she has.
Right.
That's why you find a lot of women, brother, that are married, very successful, but then the marriages fall apart. And it ain't always because of reasons of domestic abuse. It ain't always because of reasons of adultery. That's a very small percentage of men that abuse their women and a percentage of men that cheat on their wives.
Right.
Matter of fact, I can put on the screen right now that women cheat just as much as men. Just as much as men. Let me put that up here right quick for y'all to see. Because I don't just speak out my butt. Look at this right here. It said, look at current infidelity statistics, courtesy of the Journal of Marital and Family Therapy. 57% of all of men overall admit to committing infidelity at some point in their lives. 54% of women admit to doing the same thing. So if you got, see, what is that, bro? Hold on, get this out. 4, 5, 6, 7. So less than 3%. You know what I mean? So it's almost the same amount of, you see what I mean? So women are quick to say it's the men doing. Women are out here are whoring just as much as everybody else are. They are.
Yep.
They don't want to take responsibility. Yeah.
Yes, and about how you say women once they get a certain level, reach a certain level of status, and get um, you know, work their way up the corporate ladder. They, I, I also wanted to add this in. It seems like, judging from my vantage point, they get a high sense of entitlement, a high sense of arrogance,
Yeah.
so much to the point where no man, even the most successful six-figure man, is still not good enough for her. As a matter of fact, you have some black women that instead of going, women that are very successful in a, that are in a corporate field, as a prime example, if they had to, it became a case where they met a man, a black man, who happened to be the owner of a Fortune 500 company, who happened to have the perfect height, who was very attracted to her, she still would, in most cases, pass him over for the average non-black guy. And the average non-black guy that she may fall for over him may be just an average blue-collar worker, or in some cases may not have a career or job at all.
That's true, bro. You're like, you can't make a woman love you who only loves herself. You know what I mean? Like, women think it's a privilege to be with them. It ain't a privilege to be with a woman. I mean, it's a privilege to live life. You can live without a woman. You know what I mean? But women can't live without men. I know they ain't gonna like what I just said, but men create all the conveniences that they enjoy. The police force, the fire department, all this stuff with men. Now, women do have ideas. The majority of their ideals are already built upon other ideals that men came up with. I mean, for example, if I was a man and I created a cigar, and a woman come along and make a better cigar, it's still built upon the foundation of a man's thought. Now, if we have a war right now, and you watch how many women run to the men for protection. Now, these are the same independent women who go get gun licenses and all stuff like that and lift weights now and say, I don't need no man. But when it comes down to it, you need a man. And as you get older, women don't make a whole lot of money, man. Men always make more money than women do. So when women don't have a man, for some women, it's a requirement. They need a man. It can't be an option. Because when they get to an age where they can't work or they retired, where the money going to come from? If you have two incomes coming in there, most women make less than 30,000 a year. I think it's around 30 or 40,000 a year. Men tend to make 50,000 a year annually. Like, that's just at the very bottom. And it's not bad, but it's like, average. So what are the women going to do when it costs over $300,000 just to raise a child in the year 2023? You need a man. So all these Sierras and Beyonces that telling you that you don't need a man, you are a fool for believing that. You are a fool for that. You need a man. God didn't make men to be alone. You are a gift to us. We're the prize of you. Because when God made you, he took you from us. You came from our womb first.
Right.
You came from us. So every womb that's on this planet came from our womb first, which is the womb is basically around your stomach and your chest and stuff. When he took our rib out and made you, you couldn't even exist without us because you made of us. You made from a part of us.
Hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So why in the world would you want to reject your own thing?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah, and speaking of which, how you mentioned Beyonce, do you not know years back, and she made a song called "Independent Women" when Destiny's Child, celebrating and embracing being an independent woman, only to settle for someone such as Jay-Z, who she's, from the looks of things, co-dependent upon, because he's making, for one, he's more financially successful than she is.
Yeah, and he just got some more money. I think he doubled his worth. He's 2.5 billion right now. It was coming out. He done made some more investments. I'm proud of that black man. I'm gonna tell you what I think. To be honest with you, brother, those women, Beyonce and people like her, they're sellouts. When I say sellout, I mean I'm also talking about Cardi B. I'm talking about Nicki Minaj, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
They feed this poisonous ideology that women stay single. Women, you don't need no man. But say what you want to say. Nicki Minaj didn't have a baby until she was married. And you can also look at what's her name? Cardi B.
Mm-hmm.
I believe she's married. She has a child. And what really disappoints me about her is that she carries herself like a whore when she's a mother. You know what I mean? These type of modern day women are corrupting. They're corrupting the sanctity of motherhood.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even they don't make motherhood look special no more. Being a mother is a beautiful thing like a father is. Mm-hmm. But now you found women who they feel like you disrespected them if you call them a grandmother, even though they have grandchildren. I'm not old. Stuff like that. When I grew up, being called a grandmother, a grandma,
was a privilege and honor.
Yeah, it's a privilege and honor, and it was a term of endearment. We have gotten our points of view so skewed now. Like everything that's precious and beautiful is trash now to them. But everything that's trashy is precious and beautiful. Right. It's crazy, man. So right. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Oh, you could go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's terrible when the world has gotten to a point where, like, we don't appreciate living life for a long period of time. To become a grandmother, man, or a great grandmother, you have to live a long period of time. People are checking out and dying every day.
They are.
Yeah, so I'm listening to you.
On that note, and with that being said, what do you know or not, grandmothers are getting more and more younger every day as well.
Yep. And the reason why that's happening is because there's no longer restraint. When I say that the grandmother, like you said, grandmother, they might be 32. Back in our day, a grandmother might be down 55 or 60. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So like they're just, man, it's like ever since the feminist movement, man, when women feel they can do whatever they want to do with no consequence, they can lay higher they want to lay with any man, and you can't say nothing about it. Our morals in the black community have went down. They went down.
Right, that's true. And I think about how a big part of another big part of how women celebrate, being promiscuous is social media. It's like when social media, if you go back to as far as the year 2000, there was literally no social media at all. So
excuse me right quick, Derek, excuse me one second. I got to say this right quick. Josephine 8019, I see your comments. If you would like to join this podcast, send me a link. Hit my email up that's going across the screen, jeremyhillshow1@gmail.com. I am very interested in hearing what you have to say. If you are going to do that, leave a comment so I can go to my email go to my email to add you. All right, thank you. All right, go ahead, Derek. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, like I was saying though, I would say another big part of women, by them embracing being that way is due to social media, because not only is it making or has it made women more narcissistic, but if you were to go to Instagram right now, you will see all these scantily clad women uh, doing all these provocative photos. It's like every just about Instagram model you see on there, they're mostly all the time scantily clad, if not all the time. And they feel like that's the only way they could catch a man's attention as well, by always showing uh, pictures with their posteriors poked out. Well, not that, having on tops that's showing darn near nothing. You know what I'm saying? Just to be able to get a man's attention as well. I'm sure you know where I'm coming from. You see where I'm coming from
Oh
on
yeah,
that matter too.
I see where you're coming from. I see it every day, man. You can't turn on anything on any show that's streaming on Hulu, Tubi, Netflix without seeing a black woman doing like that. You can go.
Right.
You can't go anywhere on social media without that popping up in your like suggested feed of someone half naked that's a woman. And majority of the time, tell me what you think. Maybe it's the algorithm, but the majority of the time when I go to Instagram or anything like that, I see more black women like that than I do white women.
Well, I never really looked at it from that angle. I
Mm.
mean, maybe it is more so black women you see that way than white women, but I always thought it was equal, or more so white women.
It might be. I just know from my personal experience, like if I go on social media right now, if I go to Instagram or something like that, I'll see a lot more black women. I guess because of what I look at already that's kind of black related, but I see
Mm,
more black women doing it more than anything else. I'm not saying that white women are not doing it because they are, but
mm,
my thing is from a black nationalist type of point of view, and I'm not a racist, but people think when I say black nationalism, I'm not a racist. I'm more pro-black, I'm more pro-outcome. And I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta say this too, man. I think this may make you laugh, Derek. I had a guy, well, quite a few people actually. Some of them are haters or whatever, but it's fine. I don't ever talk to them because of my personal belief. If I can't touch you when I see you, no need for me to get mad. You know
mm.
what I'm saying? So let me
Right.
say this. People ask me about the Kevin Samuel thing. I love that brother's content before he passed. I
Mm,
hope he's going to do well. But I got to say this because some people are saying some ignorant stuff. The reason why I wear a suit is not because of Kevin Samuels. I actually pull from brothers like Malcolm X, Louis Farrakhan, Jawanza Kunjufu, also Bobby Seale, Huey P. Newton, and men of that thing. Because every time I seen those brothers, they had suits on. They were men of action. They were men of power. And I'm not a Muslim or anything like that. And I came out the military. They taught us professionalism. So this is
mm,
a business that I'm running. This is a monetized channel. So I won't not only respect myself, but I want to respect y'all and come to y'all because y'all don't have to even watch my channel. I want to at least present myself in such a way that respectful to you. And instead of focusing on the similarities between me and brother Kevin Samuels, they only said it because of what I wear. Look at the differences, man. I've got a big cigar, I got a bottle of scotch behind me, and a Federa style hat, man. Okay, he didn't do those things. I love Kevin Samuels' material and his content, and I still watch it as well as I watch BOA and AMS as well. You know what I mean? So I just want to say that because some people are just, and I do believe some people are dressing up like Kevin Samuels because they are copying his style. I do believe that, okay? But that's not me. And the glasses that I wear, they are actually real prescription glasses. I do have a problem with my eyes, okay? So I also want to say people wore suits and stuff before he came along. So please stop asking me stuff like that, okay? All right, so I don't
right.
know, man. So I do appreciate y'all. But go ahead.
And,
I'm listening, sir.
and I want to add this as well. If you go back to as far as the year 2000 compared to this day and age, you don't have all these random hookup apps, nor do you have any of these social media platforms so much to the point where that's another reason why, due to not only social media but all of these random hookup apps, such as Tinder, Plenty
Yes.
of Fish, and so on and so on. And it's like women, literally, most women nowadays literally feel like it's no way to be taken serious unless they may show themselves in such a promiscuous manner. Compared to back then, you know, the only way women, it seemed like back then, judging from my vantage point, women seem to have more dignity in them in themselves, and unlike now, how you could at the tap of a button on your phone could be able to see a naked woman just like that. Back then, in those days, the only way you could be able to see a naked woman or scantily clad woman in most cases was by going to the adult bookstore and looking at magazines. Now it's literally all over, the internet, scantily clad women, so much to the point where kids are getting access to that more content, that kind of content, very easily as well.
I agree with you. To me, man, if a woman brings less, when I say less, when she less dignity, she has nothing to offer you. If a woman feels her hook, so to speak, lure you to them based on sexuality, then she has no intelligence and she has nothing to bring to the table. Every woman who carries herself like a whore, like I said, today's topic is like many black women live whorishly. Any woman who does that, man, they don't have any accomplishments. They don't hardly have any achievements underneath their belts. You know what I mean? They go from hand to mouth. They always asking for sugar daddies, always asking for somebody to give them money, someone to take care of them because they are still a child in a grown woman's body. There's nothing appealing about a woman. You know what I mean? Like, don't get it wrong. For people who are watching, every man like to see a naked woman because we are made that way. That's exactly how we are. But if you bring only sex to the table, you're not bringing nothing at all. You really ain't bringing nothing, because I can have sex with a whole bunch of people. Sex is something that can be purchased. You can buy sex from a woman, but what can't be purchased is femininity, submissiveness, the ability to cooperate with your man, the ability to be pleasant around a man, the ability to have a good attitude. You can't buy that. That's worth more than dollar bills, rubies, gold, silver, and diamonds. If you cannot have a good character is priceless. So you might be fine now, but give yourself 40 plus years if God lets you to live that long. All them good looking body parts gonna start hanging to the floor. They're gonna start dragging. And then what do you have to bring to the table other than your mouth, some other man's children, and a sense of entitlement?
Either that or another man will have to deal with your kids that in most cases you may have had by other men
Right.
as well. So, you know, like you said, it'll come a day and time, to sum it all up, when these same women that are that way now, that are exploiting themselves all on the internet, fully naked and scantily clad, when they'll regret ever being that way, especially if they may have some very small kids right now, only for their kids to see images of them on the internet and question them. Their kids may come up one day and be like, "Mama, was that you on whatever site or app, scantily clad or fully naked?" And which is nothing to be really happy about. You
I'm
know
gonna
that.
say this. I'm gonna say this to respond to what you're saying. I know people ain't gonna like this, but it's cool. My personal humble opinion: black women don't love their children anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I know people ain't gonna like that, but it's true. Love is an action, man. If you don't love your child enough to act like a lady and a true mother in front of your child, you don't love them. You love yourself. All you care about is your next pleasure. All you care about what people think about you. You need to be thinking about what your child thinks about you. You need to be thinking about what your husband thinks about you. Stop being so damn concerned about your coworkers and your friends and what they think about you. You know what I mean? So, yeah, dressing up like that doesn't make you a woman. It just makes you a whore. It doesn't make a man of substance think that you are worth anything. And if you want a man that's a high earning man, or a man that's making over figures, they're not going to want you. They're just going to sleep with you. I see a lot of women all around the town that, like, if I was just completely single, I'd just sleep with her. I wouldn't want to be her man, because look at her. That's just for fun. That's just to freak out and have sex with. There ain't nothing I want to be with. You know what I mean?
And I agree. I truly agree. And not only that, but most men nowadays, that's into those kind of women, have to face very high chances of catching multiple STDs as well. Because I thought about how you have made several videos in the past about how most black women come with multiple STDs.
Oh yes, yes. Let me put that on the screen. You may they have the most. Put this up there for people to see. Cause I keep it on there for a conversation like this. Women like this, almost 50% of women, black women, more black women, 50% than white women, reported a lifetime STD. That means that almost half of the women you ever been with or going to be with in your lifetime would have had either gonorrhea, the clap, or some other thing.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these STDs don't go nowhere. Some of these are herpes. Some of these are other things, and they're gonna keep it for the rest of their life.
Right, due to their poor choices and then their excessive, uh, or to put it another way, their promiscuity.
Yes,
Them being so promiscuous at younger ages. See, it all starts during adolescence and the teenage years when most females start experiencing sexual encounters. And
yeah,
that's I would blame that on one big reason why, and I know this is pretty unfortunate to say, but why you see mothers as young as 13 and 14 now, due to them being not only very promiscuous at those younger ages, but what they see portrayed in the media as well, from porn to um, recording artists or celebrities such as Meg The Stallion, Cardi B, that you mentioned earlier,
yeah,
Black China, Amber Rose. You know,
yeah. Now about Black China, no, she is trying actually, in the public, guys, she's trying to come away from being a hoe.
right?
She
Yeah.
don't, you know what I mean? But I've seen comments from black women who have discouraged that transition. They rather see this woman be a whore and be miserable. See, being a whore don't make you happy. Having a
Mm,
whole bunch of baby daddies don't make you happy. Sleeping with being able to say that you have a high body count don't make you happy.
mm,
Loving yourself makes you happy. Carrying yourself with dignity makes you happy. Most black women are weak. Any person that goes with the flow, even when they know that it's wrong, is a weak person, man or woman. And a
mm,
lot of these women run behind other women, and they can see that this is a bad behavior, but they're afraid of the opinions of society, so they go ahead and get involved in it. We
mm,
need a stronger black woman. We need a stronger black woman, and it starts in the house. We need the fathers need to be in the house with the children. The mothers need to be in the house with the children, and they have to set up a structure. What we are dealing with today is
mm,
a new black woman who rebels against structure, and majority of them never had structure.
mm.
Structure is important because structure shows you your place. The man is up here, the woman right here, the kids are down here. Structure, when you go to a job,
Mm,
management has structure. He's the boss, she's underneath that boss, and you're the lower wage worker. Structure works. Structure brings about results. But when you have no structure, man, it's chaos.
can, can you hold on real quick? I wanted to
Yes,
holler
sir.
at my wife real quick.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Be
Take your
right
time.
back.
Go ahead. Josephine 8019. I would love for you to get in here because you're saying a lot of good stuff in my comments. Are you going to jump in this conversation so I can add you into this? Al Smith Sr., you can come into this too. You got to send me an email to my the thing that's going across the stream, and I can send y'all links to join the conversation and give your points of view. Where's the other guy? The Decipher. If you want to join, you know what it is. Same thing. Terminator T800. If you would like to join in because this is a very important thing in the black community. I'm not going to bash nobody. I think some people do. I did that to one lady, but she was very disrespectful to me, so I was disrespectful to her.
Yeah,
Do
I'm
y'all
back.
want to or not?
Sorry about that.
That's cool, bro. Life happens, man.
Yeah, but like I also wanted to add, Mr. Hill, you don't mind me keep on calling you Mr. Hill, do you?
That's fine, man. I mean, Derek, if you don't mind me calling you Derek, cool, man. I have no problem.
I don't either or Derek or Cap. If you think about the figure in the Bible, Esther, the character Esther, Esther was a virtuous woman who didn't believe in having any kids out of wedlock, any premarital sex. She was just for the most part, not only a virtuous woman, but a woman of purity. Now, if you equate that to today's, unlike back then in the Bible days, women, not all women, but some, for the most part, believed in saving themselves to marriage and such. If women of today's, most modern women of today's day and age believe in uh, practicing those kind of principles, saving themselves to marriage, then it would be not only less stepfathers or step parents in general, but it would also be way less STDs or no STDs hardly at all going around as
Oh,
well.
I agree. I agree with you on that, man. Women don't celebrate Esther; they celebrate Jezebel.
Right.
You
And
know.
Rahab, another
Yes. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
promiscuous woman. It was another promiscuous woman way back then in the Bible days that went by the name of Rahab. Have you heard of Rahab?
Oh yes, I have. I've heard. See, I'm gonna tell you this. Go back to the Garden of Eden, man. That was a God-made marriage between Adam and Eve, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what destroyed it? The same thing that destroyed relationships right now. Eve listened to a snake.
Mm-hmm.
The devil was in that snake. And a lot of women today, they listen to their girlfriends who are bitter, who don't have anything going on in their lives, and they want a good man. As soon as you get a good man who's out there working, doing what he's supposed to do, here come them heifers. Here come them women. They trying to tear it apart. They hating on you. They'll call. I've experienced this myself. They'll call all damn day, man, to see what you and your man are doing. You know what I mean? Because they just knows it. Because they don't got a man. You know what I mean? And like what you're saying, we need some good old fashioned preaching back in the day, preaching before this prosperity message came along. We need some good old fashioned shaming. We need to shame bad lewd behaviors like we used to. The black community has gotten away from that. And this is, and let me show you the results of what happens if we don't. Blacks struggle with 72% unwed mothers rate. That means 1 out of 4 every black child, like I said earlier, man, is born outside of wedlock. Because we're not shaming behavior of lewdness. We celebrate it. You can't go to a hood club. Even back in the day, if you went to a hood club or do want to call a hole in the wall or a ghetto club, the music, the lyrical content was different than what it is right now. I can go to a club now, and the first thing I'm gonna hear is, "Give me that cat so I can beat it up. Let me get that." You know? and then if it's not that, man, gonna be a woman talking about, "Oh, girl, I'ma suck it, I'ma suck it, I'ma suck it, I'ma suck it." Now, I'm like, dude, you know what I'm saying? So like back in the day, bro, they used to have at the end of the club, they'll play some slow music, man. Well, the men and the women get on slow grind. Man, they don't do that no more. They still playing the same thing, like beat it up, beat it up, beat it up, and shoot, shoot, shoot. So like, yeah, they drunk. So what you think they gonna do? They gonna beat it up, beat it up, beat it up.
Right, man. It's so a shame. Well, I would say it's just so things are so backwards to the point. I'm trying to say, because sometimes I have a kind of a hard time getting my point across to the. Things are so backwards to the point where in most songs you hear nowadays, they celebrate having kids out of wedlock, having sex out of wedlock, and even worse, having unprotected sex. If you listen to most of today's R&B.
Yeah, you're right. I'm listening to you. I'm listening to what you just said, man. They do, and they celebrate this. I'm trying to pull up something on to back up what you said when you said something. I want to put up Cardi B. There it is. There it is. That's from that WAP song, "Wet A Vagina." He got some money. All this. This is what she's saying. Now, this woman says this stuff, and she's a mother. She don't want her child saying this stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? But she wants your child to say it. That's what's so crazy about this stuff. This is from Freak Nasty. That's from Megan Thee Stallion. "Rich vagina coochie only come for a check." I mean, that's people don't understand. Getting butt naked is not a talent, man. If you have an OnlyFools account, OnlyFans, getting naked ain't a talent. If that's the case, I'm talented. Every time I take a shower, I have to get naked. Right. You know what I mean? Having sex ain't a talent, man. A talent, man, is like singing or, making money like with a skill set. Getting knocked up is not a skill set. It's not an accomplishment. But a lot of black women love it, man. They love it because they know the government is going to help them. The government is the new husband. The government is the new man. You know what I mean? Uncle Sam gonna take care of me if Keith don't. Yeah, you know what I mean? So Mm-mm.
And like somebody else said, whenever women may have kids outside of wedlock, they could always get assistance from the government. But when men have kids outside of wedlock, on the other hand, they can't afford them, they get prosecuted or penalized by the government, which is
Yeah,
in my vantage point, it's a double standard.
it is a double standard. See, it's a double standard that works out to the benefit of women. See, women get mad when we have double standards that work out to men. But
Mm,
if they benefit, it's okay. You know what I mean? Like I say, it all comes down to morals, man. We are not being taught morals. When they took prayer out of school and all that stuff like that, when they removed God completely, you
mm,
know what I mean? That's when you just gave room to the devil to do whatever he wanted to do. That's all you did. You know what I mean? The black churches who are not really in God, the black
mm,
preachers who have not actually been called by God, they are some of the biggest devils and the biggest swindlers known to man. All they
mm,
do is teach you that everything that you do is okay and you're still gonna get to heaven, which is a lie. And all
mm,
they do is take your money, and at the same time, they sleep with everybody in the choir. They
mm,
that was a pastor. I can't remember his name, but he's known for eating vagina now because he was giving
mm.
head to a woman. I forget what it was. One of y'all in the comments, if y'all know what I'm talking about, put it in there. So I can say it. His name. It was a preacher. He was caught by a big, fat, heavy, obese, shaped like the number zero woman. She was getting ate out by him. Yeah, she was getting ate out by him. She recorded it and everything and put him on blast. And this is a
Oh yeah,
cussing
yeah.
preacher.
I believe
Yeah,
I remember
yeah,
seeing
that
a clip
dude.
of that. Yeah,
Yeah,
on another YouTube channel.
yeah, he's a cussing preacher. He'll
Yeah.
say things like the Lord sent me, you mother blanker. Mother blankers ain't this is not a preacher. But yet
Mm,
he was over at church getting money while he was sleeping with people in the congregation.
mm,
You know what I mean? We got to do a better job of vetting preachers. You can't just say you're a preacher just because you say God called you. That might not
right,
have been God. That might have been your wallet called you.
right,
So we got to stop being scary, man. We got to start vetting people better, and we got to start pushing things. We got to like start holding people accountable. Like I say, my channel is about that. It's about self improvement through self accountability.
right.
That's all this channel is about. It's not like even though my channel, God has blessed me to have a monetized channel. I don't have to have 1 million subscribers to do well with this thing. This
Right.
channel is not about the money. To me, it's about actually trying to fix problems in the black community. You know
Right.
what I mean? A gentleman or two other day had sent something asking me about the JPT. I don't even want to say this woman's name, but she's a white lady. She got over 1 million subscribers. She really just capitalized off the problems of black people. And like all these different content creators are saying they sorry for supporting her. I just say her name, forget it. Pearly, Miss Ann, whatever her name is,
Or
right?
would it be Miss Pearly Things or
Yeah,
something
that's
like
her.
that?
That's her. I don't talk about her. The reason
Mm.
why some people have asked me to talk about her, I'm gonna tell you why I'm not doing it, gentlemen.
No, I'm
Because if I
sorry. I'm sorry, not Miss Pearly Things, just Pearly Things.
yeah, that's her name. That's her
Yeah.
name. That's her channel. See, I don't want to. I'm gonna tell the gentleman why I haven't covered it because some people have asked me to. I'm not going to do it. I'm gonna tell you why. If I do that, it's going to bring more attention to her channel, and she gets more revenue. More people
Mm,
who are curious about who I'm talking about will go to her channel and
mm,
supporting her. Now, what I am, I'm not really mad at her being honest now. Now you see what she was about. What I am mad about is that why black people don't support black sisters who say the same exact thing that she says. Why don't you
mm.
give the black women the same amount of subscribers that you gave her?
Right.
Well, they saying the same thing that this woman saying. She is capitalizing on what y'all say. I don't want to get off the topic. I'm sorry, I went off topic, but yeah. So my thing is, I want women to stop looking horse. Them on black daughters. I see black daughters 10 years old with makeup and earrings.
Mm.
You know what I mean? We got to stop this foolishness in the neighborhood.
Yeah, it's because a big part of it is because children, and I'm sure you could relate to this or may agree with me on this big time, always mimic what they see and what they grow up around, is in
Yes.
most cases. And speaking of kids, have you ever noticed how a woman could have a guy with no kids could meet a woman with kids by multiple men, all her kids could be by multiple men, even though she may not let that guy know off top until they eventually become serious. So once the guy was to find out she has kids by multiple men or several men, he may, tell her he has a problem with it. And then, and, and like most women do, she may want to go as far as ridiculing or shaming him. That's how women do, they think it's okay if you may be a man without kids, but they may be a woman with several kids by multiple men, that you should be able to be willing to embrace them and their kids in most cases. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think women don't understand it. No man wants another man's child. They just straight up. If they take care of you, they say they love you enough to go ahead and take care of them long haired kids. Okay, that's fine. Whatever you want to do. But
Mm-hmm.
no man wants to raise another man's child. All right. We don't come into this world thinking if I get married, I want to make sure she has 2 or 3 different kids from 2 or 3 different men. Women, when you have these children outside of wedlock, you are putting yourself in a position where men do not find you desirable. You are putting yourself in a position where men do not consider you to be marriageable. Because especially if you have to co-parent with the other man who is the father of their children, no man want to deal with that. I don't want to have to hear your baby daddy talking to you on the phone, regardless if you're sleeping with him or not. I don't want, because what it is, there's 2 men in this relationship now, him and me. I don't want to do that. I'm not trying to share. I'm not trying to, every time I put a meal in your child's mouth, I'm putting in that man's legacy. That's his legacy. That's his child. And I'm not saying nothing bad about the children. They didn't ask to be here. But women, when you open your womb up and you let men impregnate you, these are the consequences. There's nothing you can do to raise your value after you have a child from another man. There's nothing you can do. Only thing you can do, because now you're competing. Because if you see a good man and there are other women who are childless, they want him too. What do you bring to the table? Now you have to be feminine. Now you have to be submissive. Now you got to be kind and pleasant, because these other women may have all that, but they don't have no child. So you got to be at your best behavior now, looking for a good man who wants to take care of you. Now I'm not knocking men who decide to take care of another man's child. I just say it's not for me. And I will also say it's not preferred among many men to take care of another man's child or children. Right. It's just not what we want to do. And these are hard facts. And we need to tell women this, because what happens if women get mad at you because they'll say things like, I'm a package deal. No, you're not. You're not a package deal to me. If I'm dealing with you, and some women, you can take them on a date, they want to bring their kid. You never seen the kid before. The first time you date them, you say, let's go out to a date. They want to bring their kid. Now you got to sit their little kid in a high chair and pay for this kid and pay for that girl and pay for you. You don't want nothing to do with this child. You don't even know this child. Right. And this is the truth. People don't want to hear that. They think I'm being mean, but it's the truth. I don't want to take care of another man's children. And gentlemen, if you're still in there, tell the truth. A lot of us don't want to raise another man's kid.
And I can't blame guys, especially guys without kids, that don't want to take on that responsibility. And it also brings to mind about a previous video you made before about how black women refuse to take accountability for no matter what wrong they have done. They always look at themselves as so perfect, regardless of no matter what mistakes they may have made in the past, or how much baggage they may come with whenever they may meet a man for the first time that may not have baggage. They look at it from the perspective or angle that the guy's supposed to embrace them, like I was just saying a few minutes ago, regardless. She could have she could be a woman with 10 kids by 5 different men, but will still look at herself as such high value, even having multiple kids by multiple men. Still will want the guy in most cases to embrace not only herself but all of her 10 kids as well.
Exactly. To me, your value go down. It depreciates in value when the more kids you have. I'm gonna say it like this, because I probably do a video about this, man. The ranking system that I have. People call themselves a 10, and they usually base it upon appearance. No, that's part of it. I'm gonna say this right here. If you're a dime, if you have had sex, if you're not a virgin, you're not a dime. You're not, because virtue, being untouched, never having sex, that was once upon a time was considered to be everything beautiful about a woman.
Right.
Okay. If you are dating, if you are unmarried right now, and you say that you are a dime, you're a 10, but you have had sex and you're not a virgin, you are 8. You go down in my calculation, you go down by 2. If you
So
have a
that's
child, yeah, if
and,
you have a child, you go down to a 7 or below.
and speaking of which, that's similar how, and you can relate to this as well. It's before you go to the dealership, a brand new car dealership, the car may not have the car you may desire and drive off the lot may not have any mileage at all. But as soon as you drive that car between a few weeks to a month, afterwards or so, notice how the more you drive, the more higher it goes up in mileage, and then the lower the value goes down. That's I would relate that to what you said, how women value decreases with the more sexual partners that they may have had
Yeah, it's
previously.
like go ahead. Yeah, cause to piggyback off of what you said, man, I agree with you. It's like if you can afford a Bentley, why would you want a Honda? And like, and if you just got a Bentley, like you say, if you driving, you keep driving, putting miles on that, things wear out. Things got to be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
And today, the woman we deal with today, the modern day black woman, is an old Honda that's been used that have a whole lot of mileage. This is the reason why that. Let me compare it like this: an old Honda with a lot of miles, parts break, things got to be repaired and fixed for it to work again. This is how modern day black women mind is after they have had so many sexual partners because their
Mm-hmm.
mind has so much miles on it. The parts that need to be fixed now is the emotional trauma, all the
Mm-hmm.
baggage they got. Now you got to get therapy and fix that in order for the vehicle to keep going, to keep you in a relationship. Is because you was out in them streets like a car, like you were
Mm-hmm.
just Whorish. That's just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Sleeping around with different men do not help you. Having children outside of wedlock does not help you. As a matter of fact, some jobs won't even want to hire you. They try to get around the policy so they won't get sued. But if they know that you have a lot of children and no one at home, do you have a way back and forth? They won't hire you.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously.
I could believe that, but you know
Yeah.
when most women of today's modern age and society, you just can't judge them no matter what they do, whether it's right or wrong, no matter how many times in the past they have messed up or made mistakes. Which brings to mind how you mentioned earlier, they may go as far as saying only God could judge me.
Yep. I judge them. I judge them because God gave everybody the right to judge people. That's something like I said. That is stupid for people to say that you can't judge other people. If you think
Right.
I'm lying, go to the courtroom and look at how many times the judge or the jury judges someone and send them to prison for 20 or 30 years. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Judgment is a part of life. Even God in the Bible tells you to judge them by the fruit that they bear. If you don't have the ability to judge or discern between right and wrong, then you're stupid, basically, right? So you can judge a woman, even in the Bible. You can say today, you can tell somebody, and they don't like what I'm saying, but you can tell somebody if you're a Christian, the way you live right now is going to send you to hell because the word of God says being an adulterer, being a killer will put you in the lake of fire. You can
Mm-hmm.
say that. You can judge that. The only judgment that people can't have is that God has the ultimate authority to say you're going to hell or heaven. That's where that judgment comes from. But other
Mm-hmm.
than that, we have the ability to judge character. So this is a cop out most people use to keep from being accountable for their own actions.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to judge people. It's okay to tell them when they are wrong. Okay, like stop kissing ass, y'all. People who ever watch it, stop kissing people asses. Tell them the truth about what they're doing, because the longer you don't hold them accountable, the more the black community is going to go down the toilet.
and,
Uh,
and, and they also look at it, women who may go as far as saying that only God can judge me. They just look at that as a reason to justify the keep on having a reason to keep on being promiscuous and a whore as well. That's how I look at it also.
mhm. That's all I can say, man. Women live horribly, and unfortunately, they're not trying to change. That's why people doing this whole passport bro thing, trying to leave from women who think it's okay to be a whore. A lot of these women like to get knocked up. To me, they like it. I don't like that. Yes, you do. If you keep having babies after baby after babies outside of wedlock, then you must like it. That's how I look at it. I'm
Yeah,
looking at your actions.
and then even worse, some like make a habit out of getting knocked up year after year, every single year.
That's their career. As I look at it, they have a career childbearing.
Yep.
Yep.
It's sad, man. So,
Yeah.
what would you say would be out of all the content you made? What would you personally say would be some of your favorite videos? One of your all-time favorite videos?
But actually, I don't. To be honest with you, man, I don't have a favorite one because I do so many so quickly. I try to set them now to where they premiere every other day to the every day because I'm
Mm-hmm.
always trying to get to the next level and stuff like that. So to
Mm-hmm.
be honest with you, man, when I look at some of my old videos, I'm surprised at how like it might be 3 days ago I did the video, but I'm thinking it was 3 months ago. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll keep moving to the next subject, next topic, next topic. I really don't have a favorite video, to be honest with you. I'm always looking forward to the new one. My thing is I like to get people engaged. I want them to join the conversation. So I try to make videos based around the topics that I from other videos because I get some people say I don't like what you say, whatever. Okay, cool. So I try to give you an opportunity to come on here live and debate or dispute it. I want to hear your point of view. People are cowards. They talk a lot, but they don't want to get up here and really defend what they believe in. So that's the only reason I did live stream. I wasn't gonna do live stream at all. But I said I'm gonna start doing live stream
Okay.
because of that. So I want them to come along and we can talk about it civilly. You know what I mean? Like grown people. But I don't have a favorite video, bro. I don't have any favorite videos. I just my goal is to try to address the problems in the black neighborhood. You
Mm-hmm.
will be hearing videos from me about uplifting black men pretty soon because there's some things I want to because like I have a black national type of view. I want us to get more resources, more business. This, you know what I'm saying? Support each other, control our dollars in our neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Because the black man right now only, I don't have the source right now, the site, but we only control half of 1% of the wealth in America. But we
Mm-hmm.
have to do something about that. We got to stop hating each other. We got to stop, holding each other back. Stop trying to be crabs in a barrel and pull people down. I'm not about that. You
And
know what I
not
mean?
only that, need to stop embracing being thugs and gangsters as well. When you agree on that.
Oh, I agree with you 100% on that. And also, I gotta say this: I had a few people contact me that want to do a show with me, want me to call in, which I was fine with, and but their work ethic wasn't good. They wasn't reliable. You couldn't call them. Also, like any one of you, if you want to do a show, you want me to come on your show, I have no problem with that, whatever it may be. But if you don't have a good work ethic, because I am ex-military, I believe in punctuality. I believe in structure. If you're not gonna do it right, then I'm not gonna do business with you. And there's another person who want to try to do a sponsorship, but they don't want to pay the money. This is a business. It took
Mm-hmm.
money to get the camera, to get all this stuff set up, and my time is valuable. So if
Mm-hmm.
you want to sponsor me, or you want me to do a commercial for you, then you're going to have to pay whatever the price I ask. It won't be crazy, but you're going to have to pay. If you're not willing to spend any money, go someplace else with that. You know what I mean? I'm telling anybody out there, because I don't have people contact me, want me to do stuff for them for free. I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? It costs money for these candles, everything you see in here, this laptop, everything costs money. Okay, so I know what I'm worth. All right, so if you want to do business, we do business like adults. Don't come in here with your hand out, want a discount. Not that no, that's another problem in the black community. Whenever a black person has a business of any kind, every other race will pay the full price, but your brothers and your sisters want a discount.
Or a
Your
handout in
or a handout. That's not gonna
most
fly on
cases.
this town. Yeah, we gotta stop doing that.
And I agree with what the Cipher mentioned as well. His comments, how he said, no real man wants a used up 304.
Yeah, he right. Yeah, he keep it real. The cipher man, he always say some real things, man. He really do, and he's telling the truth. I wish the cipher would get on this show. I don't seen you up here all the time, but he got up here. You know what I mean? A lot of these people I wish would be up here. We could talk on masculine frame. I ain't seen him yet, but I guess in time these other gentlemen would get up here. You know, they're probably busy. But
Or
yeah,
some could be shy as well.
I think so too. I think a lot of people are they kind of a little bit timid or whatever. If it make
Yeah.
y'all feel better, I can not put you up for now. I can put some of you where y'all have y'all avatar when we just hear you voice speak and you don't have to be on the screen if you're kind of nervous about being on there. And we can talk like that. That's fine with me, man, until you feel comfortable. You know what I mean? We can do that too. Yeah.
So do you plan on making it a regular thing where you'll be posting live content every Sunday?
Yes, for right now, I'm going to try to post every Sunday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about doing it twice a week, but my schedule is kind of busy. You know what I'm saying? So if I can do it twice a week, I'll try. But I don't know. Maybe I should move to 2 p.m. Cause I was thinking maybe people are in church or they're just not getting out of church or whatnot. I don't know. So maybe 2 p.m. Central Standard Time Sunday, but Sunday's probably gonna be my time for a while before I change it. Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this: when how most modern black women embrace being promiscuous and whores, would you say there's more the ratio of women, black women like that is more over women that are more dignified
But you
and
say it's
have,
more.
you
But
know,
repeat that. I'm
women that
sorry.
have, between
Repeat
women
that.
that are, very promiscuous, or loose, and I quote, um between women of that nature and black women that are more carry themselves in a more sophisticated and dignified manner. Will you say the number of promiscuous black women outnumber the women that are that way?
I was to answer that question, which is a great question. I would say it really depends upon age and demographic,
Mm,
because I think a lot of black women in other countries are not promiscuous like that, and I think that the younger generation of black women are more promiscuous than the generation that come before them. I think from what I see, and by the
mm,
numbers, because remember, over 70% of children are being born out of wedlock. I would say
mm,
it's a lot more of them, of those women who are acting like whores than the women who are acting like ladies. I really
mm,
believe that. I think that's the problem. We have a lot of these little roaches running around here trying to be thought pockets everywhere.
mm,
That's what I think. I think it's a lot more whores than it is ladies out here. And what I have a problem with the ladies is that they seem to be too cowardly to speak up against it, because they always say like I want a good man. Why y'all keep going to the whore and all that stuff like that? Well, what are y'all doing? Y'all not discouraging the behavior. There's only a few black women I see on YouTube that actually speaking the truth against that, which
mm.
is shameful. They should be more helping us trying to change the mindsets of the women.
And whether you know it or not, Mr. Hill, most women that are that way, very loose and promiscuous, they don't make the best wives nor mothers either, most of the time.
No, they'll never be a good wife. Like oh, you can't make a whore housewife. That's true. You can't make a whore mother either. Not a
Mm,
good one. You can't, because when they are whores, man, every whore is someone who is self-centered.
mm,
They always care about themselves. They don't care about what nobody else do. They're the provocateurs of anguish. They have no difficulty. There are no strangers to provocation. They love. Here's the thing with whore, man. You can't correct the whore, because as soon as you correct the whore, you're gonna hear all these ad hominems and ad hominem. I'm saying like this. Ad hominem is something like, if I tell a whore this behavior is unacceptable for these reasons, what a woman do when she's using the ad hominem, she
mm,
will since she can't combat what I'm saying because the facts are the facts and it's truthful, they will insult me. They will attack the messenger, not the message. They'll say things like, "Oh, you ugly, you stupid, you crazy and stuff." Because who are you to judge me on a God can judge me? That's what an ad hominem is. That's what a woman would do when she use a lot of pejorative statements, meaning she's just insulting. A lot of these black women are insulting when you present facts to them, when you present truth to them. You know
mm,
what I mean? Truth is a bittersweet pill. It can be good and it can taste bad at the same time.
mm.
You know what I mean? Like I say, go ahead, sir.
And do you not know that women embrace being sluts and whores so much to the point where just some years back, Amber Rose, this probably was around 7, 8 years ago. She had a march with nothing but women, and they were embracing being a slut, calling it a slut walk. Do you remember that?
Oh yes, I remember that.
Yeah. How
That's
do you
that.
feel? How do you feel about how women go as far as having marches now? You know how they embrace that much being whores or promiscuous to the point where they have um go as far as having parades.
I am disappointed. I'm very disappointed about the black ones, of course. I'm very disappointed about the modern day black women who will participate in such debauchery. I'm,
Mm,
I'm very disappointed to see a black woman celebrate being a whore.
mm,
I'm very disappointed that I'm very, it's appalling. Because when I see that at my age, man, I worry about what the future gonna be like.
mm,
Because if there are young women who are celebrating whoredom this way, what are their grandchildren going to be like?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel sorry for the generations that's coming behind this one because they don't have any role models. They don't have any good role models. They have
Right.
bad role models.
Right.
So for a woman to stand up and be stiff-necked and rebellious, because it's all it is, that slip walk and parading them to be whores, that's just rebelliousness towards the traditional beliefs of modesty and chastity and virginity. They are rebelling against wholesomeness so that they can do whatever they want, whenever they want, however they please. And there are going to be always men who are going to get in line with that and follow them because they are led away by their own lust and their own personal desires. If men can learn how to control their desires, it would help slow this movement down. But if women, real women, was to chastise these whores for us, it would slow down. They have too much liberty, man. They have too much freedom. They have too much freedom.
And things are so ridiculous nowadays, in these days and times, to the point where, do you not know that there are women nowadays who go on radio shows and podcasts bragging about how many men they have been with? They look at it as a badge of honor or a world record nowadays as well.
That's a part of. Go ahead.
I have seen a few clips on YouTube of women bragging about how many men. One woman in particular bragged about having sex with over 200 men, and this happened to be I believe, a black adult star.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised it's that low. She's a pornography star.
Yeah,
yeah, man. That's no different than some of these women that have sex. I don't know why the body count now is a thing to glorify with women. I don't know why they're doing that. And it does. I saw another person, I'm not saying his name, and I have nothing against him, is a content creator. And he said that a woman's body count don't matter. I heard that, I said, man, you're a damn fool.
Exactly.
It does matter. A woman's background track record matters because that gives you a glimpse of what you're possibly going to be dealing with if you marry her. If she is a super duper whore before you married her, she most likely still going to be a super duper whore, but just underneath a different title of wife.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it does matter what your body count is. It does matter.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a shame, man. Well, I guess I'm about to end this video, but it was nice talking to you once again, Mr. Hill. And I look forward to joining you again in the near future on some more streams, if that's okay.
Yes, sir, man. You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome, bro. You're more than welcome, man. It's always a pleasure talking to another black man who got his head on his shoulders. You know what I mean? Thinking straight. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's very refreshing, man. You know, so I thank you for joining the podcast or whatever this live stream.
Oh, and by the way, I wanted to also thank you for subscribing to my channel, Cap Social Network, as well.
Oh, no problem, man. Anytime, man. Thank you for the shout out. I saw one of your videos. Shouting me out, man. So I do appreciate that, man. So this is what it's about: networking, black men coming together in unity instead of division, because we always seem to be portrayed as people who are against each other. So thank you. You know what I mean? Appreciate that.
Okay, no problem. Well, you have a good day, Mr. Hill.
You too, sir. Be safe.
You too.
Okay, y'all. That was a very pleasant live stream. And thank you for all of you who have commented on the show. If anybody wants to join in now, feel free. I'm gonna go ahead and if you want, I can recap the beginning of the monologue. And if nobody wants to wants to join in, then I'll just shut it down. I have some pit bulls that I'm supposed to be selling. I had a pit bull. She had a first time birth. She had 16 pit bulls, boy. A whole litter of 16 puppies. So anyway, let me get back into what I said at the beginning for those of you who might just be turning in. Again, if you're easily triggered, this is not the show for you, because I mix my personal opinions with facts and I come hard with it. So like I said before, black women today, they celebrate whoredom. They love promiscuity. They are the provocateurs of anguish, They have no issue selling themselves out, whoring themselves around for money. They think it's cool and it's okay and it's great to be a whore. They have a lot of children out of wedlock because they don't have the ability to show or display good judgment. And I am talking about a certain sector of black women. Not all share these qualities, but the majority of them do. It is a horrible time that we live in when black men cannot get along with black women. It is a horrible time when a black man cannot run to a black woman for comfort, for love. Women today feel that they can only be validated through sexuality. If a man wants her body, then that must mean that she has some type of worth, that she must have some type of value. We are living in difficult and strange times where we have to argue about self-respect. We live in a difficult time when we find women who have no class that you have to argue with or have an arguable talking point about them wearing bonnets out in public. We live in a terrible time where women feel that it's okay to dress in over-revealing clothing and to also wear things that are so tight that you can even see the opening, the passage, the vaginal lips to her womb. We live in a day of time where the modern day black woman does not care about character nor morality, but only care about money, cash outs, and their presence on social media. They only care about being thought leaders of promiscuity and debauchery. They are no strangers to provocation. Today's modern day black woman has fallen from grace. In order for us to change this, in order for us to provide a solution to this, we must come together and have a dialogue, and that dialogue must be honest. It must be factual. We cannot have a dialogue that is only led by emotion. We must accept and embrace the traditional views of old in order to restore the black community. If that's making any sense to y'all. If any one of you want to talk to me a little bit before I close this down, email my link, jeremyhillshow1@gmail.com, and I'll send you the link, and you can get to the live stream. Now, back to what I was about to say before I close it down. The priorities of the modern day black woman is piss poor. They have piss poor morality. Black women today will give you head before they give you respect. Black women today will twerk and pop that coochie in front of you before they will display femininity in front of you. Black women today would rather lay on their backs and bend over in front of you instead of having a good attitude and a pleasant disposition in front of you. Black women today would rather have a successful OnlyFans account instead of a successful marriage. And this is just my personal observations, in my opinion, mixed with a little facts. Because a lot of you see what is happening in our community. And we are the only ones that's going to save us. We can't depend on massa. We can't depend on the government. We can't depend on the next person. We have to do it. We have to get a tougher, thicker skin. Because whenever you try to bring change to something or to some people, you are going to deal with pushback. You are going to deal with criticisms. You are going to deal with disrespect. All because you believe that you are standing up for what is right. And standing up for whatever is right, gentlemen, can never be wrong. So I'd like to thank y'all for tuning into my live stream. And I guess I'll see y'all later. Have a good one. Oh, before I go, some of my subscribers told me that they didn't know I was dropping some new videos. All of you who hear me, if you are a subscriber, hit your notification button. That way you will know when I'm dropping videos. I usually drop a video either every day or every 2 days. And I will try to live stream every Sunday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. I may change that to 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. I don't know yet. but hit the notification bell so you'll be aware. Thank you and have a great day.